Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud.
It is time for the Debate Hockey Podcast, episode 106. It's July 13th, 2020, and we continue this never-ending summer, but we are on the home stretch. Hockey's in sight as NHL Camps officially opened today with Phase 3. And, now we get to talk about players on the ice finally, Blake.
Yeah, definitely. It was refreshing to see you go on Twitter and see your favorite team all back on the ice at the same time, not just the groups of 6 or the group of 12. Nice to see them get back skating, and it's only a matter of time before August 1st rolls around. I can't wait, man. You
know what's cool, though, too? I don't know why, but, as soon as I got dates, as soon as I saw dates, then I was just like, okay, now I can live with this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just the unknown of, God, is this going to go on till, October?
Well, we kind of figured, a month ago, we kind of figured it'd be around the first week of August.
We weren't too far off. Well, initially, we have to put a disclaimer in there because originally me and you thought there would be no hockey until next season.
That is true.
And we both stood.
There's a lot of people that said that.
You know what, though? And I still don't know that that's not still a 50-50 chance. As much as I don't want to admit that, I pray that we have hockey in August. I think it's not only good for the players. I think it's good for the fans and the players and just, I don't know, civilization as a whole. We need sports back. We need some normalcy in our lives. And boy, I don't know what's better than having something to talk. That's been the biggest thing for me is there's just nothing to talk about. Hockey talk is 80% of my life. So when I don't, you can't only talk about what free agents you're going to sign and, but you didn't even know that because we didn't even know how much cap there was going to be. So we didn't even know if we were going to be able to sign anybody. So it's just nice to have some dates and a schedule was freaking awesome to see,
Oh yeah. I mean, we'll touch on the schedule a little bit, but man, 52 games in 9 days. It's definitely a hockey fan's dream. When I saw that, man, I said, yep, I am going to be glued to the TV from 10 Eastern to nearly midnight. That's for sure.
I got a sports question for you, Blake, and then we're going to get on and into the show and talk hockey the rest of the way. Washington Redskins now have to change their name. Did you wake up with the world a better place today?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really care. I didn't agree with North Dakota having to change their name from the Fighting Sioux. I didn't really understand what the big deal was with that. But I mean, if you're going to make the Redskins change their name, okay, then you got to change the Cleveland Indians. You got to change the Chicago Blackhawks. There's so many controversial names in sports.
It's going to go further though, Blake. The New York Yankees.
Yeah, exactly. I thought there's so many team names.
The Minnesota Vikings. I'm Norwegian. I can say that's offensive.
I
just don't understand. In 2020, when we have serious drug problems, serious sex crimes problems, serious child problems, we're focusing on this, man.
I don't if this is this much of an issue right now, why wasn't it changed 10, 15 years ago?
Well, the thing is, I don't know. Do you know any sports team that's using these in a derogatory way? I don't. I think it's done in a more in a very respectful way, and I don't know. I guess I'm sure now Edmonton's fighting the battle with the Eskimos.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the big fuss. These names, the Edmonton Eskimos have been around for almost 100 years, and now all of a sudden it's a big deal. I don't really understand.
Yeah, and so the Redskins have been not 100 years, but just all these names. And I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I just think that, God, do we not have bigger fish to fry? I mean, it blows my mind that it's come to this. But
it's kind of crazy how FedEx and Nike are forcing their hand. They're like, oh, we're gonna take away our naming rights and we're gonna take away our sponsorship.
What the hell do they care?
I don't. You stroke the Redskins a check and you make money off them. So why does that matter?
If I was a Redskins owner, I'd have said, take a kick rocks, man.
Okay, well, find another sponsorship. Like
Not
there's
changing.
there will be many businesses / organizations that would be lining up to partnership with an NFL team.
I laughed my ass off today though. I was just scrolling through Facebook. I was looking for hockey news and stuff, but I saw some T-shirts made, and they were the Cleveland Indians logo. But they had cut the feather off the top, and they had lightened the face color a little bit. And instead of saying Indians in that cursive that's cool, like their logo, it said Caucasians.
Interesting. Maybe they should change the name to that. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
I try to stay off Facebook. There's too much dumb shit on there.
There is. Anyways, good news for you. You've taken a hockey-related job in Verdun, Manitoba, and you'll be moving there. And we will continue the show remotely from Verdun. Yeah,
no, I'm super excited. Me and my mom went up to Verdun on Friday and toured the town and met the coach. Saw their new facility there that they built in 2013, and it was definitely nice to finally accept a job. And I've been kind of hunting around for a few months now, and it's a start. It's not the job that I went to school for to be a broadcaster, but to be involved with the hockey team and do the game operations and be involved with their social media team, I couldn't be any happier for sure.
Oh, it's good. It's a great hockey league. It's a great stepping stone for you, and I think you'll enjoy your time in Verdun, and we wish you the best there. And I'm glad that we're going to be able to continue the show remotely. It's always fun doing it in person, and I'm sure we'll meet up, and maybe I'll have to take a trip to Verdun for a Friday, Saturday night series and see what a little bit of Manitoba Junior Hockey League is like, and we can do a live show. But anyways, other things we're going to do next year on this podcast, starting in September when we start season, was it four now? Oh, we are going to add video, and so Blake and I are going to be messing with that over the next 3 weeks, refining that, getting that so that it looks as good as possible. And not only will you be able to listen to us if you desire, which I don't know why you would, you can actually watch us too. And
that means I got to do my hair every week, so that sucks.
Yeah, or at least put a hat on or shower, Blake, or one of the two. But
shave my greasy muzzy maybe.
And I don't know. I think I'm kind of excited for it. I think it should be fun. And
we'll see. I mean, especially when you can put a video podcast on a platform like YouTube. I think that's where a lot of people are going. Like when you look at a TV show like Tim and Sid, they're on YouTube too. Like a lot of platforms, or a lot of podcasts are on YouTube, and they get a lot of viewers. So maybe this could be the next step for us to maybe get more listeners and fans, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it, and we'll be working together here on some nights here in the next coming weeks, trying to refine that and getting the software going. I've got all the software purchased and downloaded and cameras and everything ready to roll. We just got to refine it a little bit, and we'll be doing that over the next 3 weeks, and we are excited to have that. Now moving on to this week's episode, what we plan on talking about. First, we're going to talk about return to play and the progress of the phases. Then we'll roll into the NHL and the NHLPA reaching an agreement on the CBA. We'll talk about players opting out of the return to play, and then we'll go around the league, talk a little Brock Besser, Lindy Ruff, Brackett, Stamkos, and a little bit of Ottawa Senators. A big thanks goes out to our sponsor, UBGM. Hey, hockey fans, are you ready for UBGM.com? A brand new daily fantasy hockey app designed and built for hockey fans by hockey fans. Do you have ideas that would make your daily fantasy hockey experience better? Sign up as a VIP at ubgm.com/the debate. Add your voice to the growing community of UBGMers. You'll get a sneak peek at the app, plus an opportunity to tell us what you like and what you want more of from daily fantasy hockey. Join us today at ubgm.com/the debate. UBGM, we love hockey. Well, Blake, today was the day, July 13th. Teams reported to Training Camp 2.0. Had to be a little weird for them, don't you think?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Now is usually a time where we're doing a podcast and we're talking about which team overpaid for which free agent.
Yeah, I know.
What team got a steal of a deal, but now we're talking about finishing the season and starting up the playoffs. It's definitely something that us hockey fans have never seen before. But honestly, it's kind of cool to kind of relax in the summer and sit back and watch some hockey. It's different for sure, but I think it's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into that schedule. And that first 10 days is just off the charts how many hockey games we're going to get to see. And
yeah.
We're not making predictions on this show. We'll get into that on the next show. But some of these series that are going to come up are going to be amazing. We got 5 games a day for...
Six. First 2 days are 5. The rest are 6.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just looking at the schedule now. And that first day, though, boy, starts at... We'll talk Central Time since that's kind of in the middle of everybody. But 11 a.m. and the last game's at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. And
it's going to be awesome.
Holy cow. I'm going to watch a lot of hockey.
I mean, hockey fans had to suffer from that crazy day in mid-March. And now we're getting repaid. We're getting repaid for all the suffering, and we're getting 5-6 games a day. It's awesome, man. It's going to be great.
Well, we just hope we can get to that point. We just keep praying and praying. Hub cities named as Toronto and Edmonton, and I think that's fine. I think it's good decisions. I think there's probably a lot of good places to do it, but I think the decisions made there were good decisions, and I hope that I read. I've been a little bored late at night, and I read the detailed on the NHL media site, the protocol guidelines. And did you know that it goes into detail as far as how the players should stand in elevators? It goes that deep.
Yeah, no, are you talking about the TSN report from Frank Cervelli?
No, I'm talking about the NHL media put out the team gets a guide on procedural things and how they will be handled within the bubble and how extensive the bubble is and how that all, coincides. One of the things I thought was really interesting, and that was the hotel assignments. Did you tend to look at what teams are staying with who in the hotels?
I glanced at it briefly. I know that all the hotels are pretty close to the vicinity to the rink, so that's all I really care about.
In Edmonton, the Sutton place is going to be the Vancouver Canucks, Calgary Flames, Winnipeg Jets, Minnesota Wild, Arizona Coyotes, and Chicago Blackhawks.
That's all the playing teams.
No, it's not.
Sure it is. What are you talking about?
The Oilers are a playing team.
I said it's all the playing teams in the West. It's
not all of them. The Oilers are a playing team. The Predators are. And at the JW Marriott, it's the Oilers, the Predators, Stars, Golden Knights, Avalanche, and Blues.
Okay, yeah, well, you can't put them all there, but yeah.
In the Toronto at the Royal York, the Hurricanes, Islanders, Maple Leafs, Blue Jackets, Panthers, Rangers, Canadians. And then over at Hotel X, it's the Bruins, Lightning, Capitals, and this one made me laugh, the Flyers and the Penguins. That should be interesting at the hotels. Now, my question with that is, I think it's pretty irrelevant what hotels people stay at.
Yeah, who cares?
But here's something to think about, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. When you stay together and you eat together, you're in the bubble, you can't leave the bubble. So you're going to be out there and you're going to be eating in the same places. You're going to be hanging out during the same days. They're going to have social areas for them to play ping pong and to play games and to watch games on TV and to watch movies. And they're going to have a movie theater and all these things. You're going to be interacting on a daily basis with your opponents.
Okay.
Now, does that bring the emotions of a game down?
I don't think so. It's basically a glorified All-Star weekend. It's basically what this is.
Okay, exactly my point. But All-Star games are low emotions on the ice. I'm asking the question if that changes things a little bit.
I don't think it does, because at the end of the day, you're playing for the Stanley Cup. You're not playing for the ping pong championship.
No, I understand that, but
you're playing for the Stanley Cup. So once you get on the ice, it's business as usual. Players will flick the switch and they'll hate the guy and they'll hit the guy in the corner that they played ping pong with the day before. That's just how it's going to be.
So how do you think it'll affect players not having the roar of the crowd and the intensity of the crowd? Do you think that'll matter? I think it does to a point, but I don't think it's going to be life-changing.
Well, I mean, the advantage definitely goes to players that played with the Arizona Coyotes. They're used to that stuff, but
wait. We usually throw jabs at Florida, not Arizona.
Well, both of them have advantages, but what I was going to say is I think players know what's at stake, and they know that they have a job, and the job is to win the Stanley Cup. So it might be a little different, like the first couple of games, but I think like once the series goes on, I think it's just going to be business as usual, and they're just going to play the game of hockey, man. I don't know if they're going to pump crowd chants or crowd noises into the stadium, which I mean, I guess like in baseball they're kind of doing that. I don't mind it. It's just a little and I like clapping and cheering. I don't mind that. It kind of brings the atmosphere somewhat to the game without fans, but like there's really no perfect situation in an opportunity like this. Like it's like this thing isn't going to be perfect. There's going to be some flaws, and I just hope that they can do this as safe as possible.
It sounds like they're going to be putting like advertisement banners over the bleachers to fill in the bleachers so that it doesn't look like it's like they're going to have actually advertising around the lower deck. So it's not just empty seats sitting there. They're going to be covered with a tarp with advertising. Okay,
but listen though, like it honestly like
they got to recoup money, man.
It honestly takes you back to playing as a kid though. You know, you grow up, you play in front of no fans, and you just go out there and play the game of hockey, and that's kind of what it is right now. And I think it's gonna push players to play even harder, because at the end of the day, like you got to go through the damn gauntlet to win the Stanley Cup. You got if a playing team wins the Stanley Cup, you got to win 5 rounds, right? And for the one round is the best of 5, but the rest are best of 7. And I think players are just going to be so focused. This isn't even going to be a storyline, to be honest.
I think it's going to be odd. I'm not talking about the players of Blake. I'm talking more of the fans. It's going to be more of a factor for us than it is them.
But I mean, like realistically, they pan the camera left or right. You don't even really see much of the seats anyways.
No, I'm talking just the excitement and the noise and the going crazy when they score a goal. Really, it's going to be odd. It's going to be odd to start, but I think we'll get used to it and everything.
I don't really pay attention to like fans going nuts. Like, of
you
course,
do too.
No, but like fans at the game on the TV, I could care less.
You're going to notice a huge difference on night 1 of the playoffs.
Okay, but they're going to pump crowd noise in. The goal horn goes off, and they're going to put fans cheering.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to have to do something like that, because you can't just have a goal horn go off. Like, what are they going to do? Players are going to be dropping F-bombs on the ice. Like, there's got to be a way to cover some of that up. Because
just don't have mics on the glass.
I like that, though.
So do I.
You hear the pucks off the glass, the pucks hitting the sticks, and like
they'll figure that out. I'm not worried about it.
Like, to make up for no fans, I honestly think you should mic up the players. I still think that'd be awesome. Why not?
No.
The Canucks mic up players all the time and post videos. I'm like, what's the difference?
You can't monitor it live, though. You can't. They might be talking about plays and strategies and stuff. Like, you can't monitor that live. You're gonna have some Jethro guy up in the booth up there flicking on Horvat as he's coming down on a 2-on-1. I don't think that's gonna happen. I know that's not. As a matter of fact, I know that's not gonna happen, because the NHLP would never agree to that. Never agree to it. I think that we're going to be like the first day, we're going to be like, wow, this is different. But we're going to be like so used to it by day 3 that it's not even going to matter, because this is going to be good hockey.
You know what, man? I'm just happy that my team's back in the playoffs.
They're not in the playoffs.
They are in the playoffs.
They're in the qualifying round.
Badman said any team that's playing in a in a playing series is deemed to make the playoffs, so that they're in the playoffs.
Okay.
They made the playoffs, so the drought is over. 4-year drought's officially over, so that's good.
Oh, it would take a pandemic for the Canucks to get into the playoffs.
A pandemic and a Markstrom injury of being in first place. We can look at it that way also.
You know, we both mentioned that getting dates was a big deal, and we started today on July 13th as the team's going into training camp phase, and then July 26th they report to the hub city. We're going to get some exhibition games on the 20th to the 28th to the 30th of July. I haven't heard if they're going to be televised or even open to public. I mean, well, they're not obviously open to the public, but if we're going to even get reports on that or who they'll play even.
I got an opinion on that.
What?
So I honestly wouldn't even want to play any exhibition games.
I would.
I would rather have extra time at training camp rather than risk an injury before a playoff game.
They have 13 days at training camp. That's a long time.
Okay, 13. I would rather have an extra 2 days, get rid of the exhibition games, report to the bubble on like the 28th, do all the testing, okay? You get settled in, then boom. 3 days later, you start on August 1st.
You want to know you want I think they should do?
Like how many is each team playing? A couple games or?
You know what I think they should? Now it sounds like 2. You know what I think they should do? I think they should have reported the bubble today.
Yeah, I don't know if you could do that because
why?
That's 24 training camps. Where are you getting all this stuff? Where are you getting all this ice from?
The ice would be the tricky part, but there's lots of arenas in Toronto and there's a lot of them in Edmonton.
Yes, but okay.
To be truly safe, though,
you still got to isolate away from the public, and I think that would be very hard to do with 24 teams doing training camp. I think that would be very tough.
No, I don't disagree, but it would have been the safest one because what's going to happen now is they're going to be out in the public now, and then all of a sudden we're going to go on the 26th, and they're going to report to Hub City. They're going to get tested. Guess what? You test positive, you miss the first round.
That's not true.
Really? Because you get 14 days after that.
No, it's not 14 days. It's four negative tests within 4 days.
Okay.
So that's not like
no, I know.
That could take 4 in a row. 4 negative tests could take 14 days.
Yep.
Could take 4 days.
Could take 5.
Like, you don't know. So it's definitely caution. I mean, I wouldn't want to test positive. I mean, you want to help your team as much as you can, but I mean, I liked the fact that they didn't put in a mandatory 14-day quarantine because that like if McDavid missed 14 days, Oilers are screwed.
Well, they said you get treat it like a hamstring injury. I mean, that's how they're going to treat this.
Yeah. You know, one of the interesting things that I got from the bubble kind of spiel was that the media is not to know any.
That's where I was going next.
Positive tests and it saves like when I see that I strictly think of Austin Matthews and how that situation was handled and he got asked yesterday if he tested positive and he admitted that he tested positive and Steve Simmons, the guy that first reported it, was like whoa, like I reported this 2 weeks ago, why is this being asked again? What do you think of this stuff getting hid from the media?
I think it should be if a guy tests positive, they should just say he's positive. Are we so ignorant in society that we would look down upon somebody for getting a disease that you have no fucking control over getting it? I mean, seriously,
that's what I'm saying.
Like you have no control over getting this. You can get this anywhere, doing anything. Like, so we're going to shun somebody for getting this and we're going to look down upon some person or National Hockey Leaguer for getting it? That's ludicrous. So for them to not report it to me, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
I didn't agree with that. I was like, well, I mean, you just be straight up with the fans. Like so let me ask you this. You're watching the Calgary Flames and Elliot Friedman comes on, Johnny Gaudreau, late scratch.
I'm going to know what it is.
What's going on
with
here?
With Gaudreau, it might be just that he's sucking.
Well, but I'm saying, you're as a fan, you're like, whoa, why isn't this guy playing? You go look at Twitter, can't find anything.
You know what we're going to say? When we find out he's not playing, you know what we're going to say?
Well, he's got COVID.
That's what we're going to say.
And that's not right. It's a PR nightmare for the NHL because they are going to have so many fans bitching at like what's going on with this player, that if you're just straightforward with the fans, okay, this guy's got COVID, okay, he's got to be isolated, he's got to be tested negative 4 straight times, and then he's safe to go back. It's like, I don't know why they have to go around like that.
I don't understand why. I mean, like, they act like they're protecting the player. Like, what are you protecting them from? Because, like, I don't think less of anybody that gets this. Like, that's like saying, Jesus, Blake, you got the flu last winter. My God, how the hell can you do that? Are you dirty or something?
Yeah.
Like, that's ludicrous. I mean, anybody can get this. Like, it's like the flu. It's like getting pneumonia. Like, this shit's out there. You can get it.
Yeah.
But we roll into August 10th. The qualifying round will be done, and we'll get phase 2 of the lottery draft, which will be a fun night. Then the 11th round 1 starts. 25th round 2 starts. Conference finals start on the 8th. September 22nd, the Stanley Cup finals. And then the last day the cup can be awarded is October 4th. We don't waste any time from there. The 9th and 10th is... Well, free agency starts right after the draft, but the draft is the 9th and the 10th, and then it's going to be off the charts. Mid-October is going to be free agency. The 17th of November, training camps open, and December 1st, 2021 starts. But there lies the problem in my mind.
What's the problem?
Are we getting fans back in the stands?
That's the $1 million question everyone wants to know, man.
Because it won't start without them.
It's going to be very tough.
I think we'll have fans in the stands.
It's going to be very tough for all sports if they kind of have fans. You can't lose that much money. You can't. You can't continue to keep losing revenue. And hockey, especially, NBA makes a lot more revenue than the NHL. So, I mean, them not having fans is it's a hit, but it's not as bad as a hit as the NHL.
And the NFL is probably the safest. The NFL.
What did you say? Sorry.
The NFL is that can play without fans the easiest because they have their television dollar deal is in the billions and billions and billions. So, but that being said, you can only do that for a certain amount of time. And then no matter what, I'm just going to be honest. If a year from now there's no fans in the stands, there's no professional sports. Yeah, because there won't be junior sports, there won't be college sports, there won't be any feeder program sports because none of them can survive without fans.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of college sports that have zero fans as is. I went to a Minnesota game 2 years ago and there's 3,000 fans there.
Okay, but Blake, the very last team in sport to play will be the NCAA.
Probably. They already canceled their fall season, so
no, they did not. They did not cancel the football season.
No, the fall sports.
Yeah, football's a fall sport.
Well, Harvard's not playing hockey.
Yeah, that's okay. That's Ivy League. That's totally different. That's not real sports.
It's NCAA.
I know, but that's one division of it. They have not said that we're not playing football.
And that's the best of the best schools. The Ivy League.
In academics.
Well, I mean, like Harvard, Yale, pretty good.
In academics, but not in sports.
Pretty good hockey programs.
Okay, but not good at anything else. And I'm just being honest, hockey's a pimple on the ass of the NCAA.
Sure, I agree. But that being said, it's a little concerning if it's this early and they're already canceling seasons.
Yes and no, because you got to look at where those schools are.
We're in July. Okay. The hockey season for Harvard starts in October.
But I don't even want to get into it, but there's reasons why those schools are not going to play.
But don't you think it's a little premature, though?
Yeah, but why do you think that is, Blake?
I don't know.
Why did they say fall and not winter? Because the election will be over.
We're getting into this?
No, we're not. We're not at all. Okay. But I'm just talking, those schools are as liberal as you can possibly get. And that makes a difference.
Well, that's all Eastern Canada and eastern part of the world, for that matter. So
eastern part of your country, not the U.S. has got pockets all over. But anyways, we're not on about that. Okay, but now today the Montreal Canadiens had some positive tests, but now they said that a couple of them were false negatives or false positives.
And we've seen that a couple times.
We've seen that a lot. So what happens if your player gets a false positive game day and you lose out on your star player that day? And then you find out the next day it was a false positive. That sucks. Like I said,
have to live with that, man.
part of the game we're playing right now.
That's the way she goes.
Now the Pittsburgh
this tournament is it's a big fat game. That's all it is, man.
Now the Pittsburgh Penguins sat out 9 players from practice today as precautionary reasons because they had been in contact with someone who tested positive. We're going to see more of that, don't you think?
Yes, I do think a lot more players are going to be testing positive, and as a player, I hate to say this, but you would almost want to test positive now than in the second round of the playoffs.
So you're saying that we all should just get this and get it done?
I'm not saying. Like,
I'm joking with you.
I'm not wishing anybody to get COVID.
No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20, obviously. But
Austin Matthews is sitting in the driver's seat now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's asymptomatic. He's good to go.
See? Isn't it funny how that is, huh? Well,
I mean, as a fan,
just
you
think
only
about
care about...
But Blake, when just after you said that comment, think about my question I gave you before we recorded tonight. Just think about that tonight.
Well, I'm just saying.
We'll roll on. I know exactly what you're saying. You just said it, Blake. You just said it. All right. Now let's roll into a little bit more serious. Well, I don't know if any more serious than COVID at this point, but players opting out of the return to play. Travis Hamonic led the way. Mike Green, Sven Barchi, Roman Polak, who fucking cares? Carl Alsner. There was one other one today. I don't remember. It was an irrelevant one and an assistant coach. And I don't remember who that was.
Who is the coach?
There was an assistant coach today and I don't remember what team.
So
I don't remember what team. I should have wrote that down prior to this, but I didn't. I thought the only ones that really mattered were Hamonic and Green.
Yeah,
because the other Berchi doesn't play.
Berchi's in the AHL. Who was the other one? Polak already signed in the Czech Republic, and he was hurt, so
he wasn't done.
Hamonic's post, you read it as a human being, and you kind of don't understand like what it's like to go through that with a child that went through something like that. So I kind of understand where he's coming from. As a Calgary Flames fan, I would be a little pissed off because he is a top 4 defenseman. He's a good defenseman, but I don't know what it's like to be in a situation like that, so I can't really comment on what it's like to be in his shoes. But it was obviously a tough decision for him to make because that's his job, and he loves playing hockey. He wants to be there for his teammates, but I mean, he thinks that it's more safe for him to stay home. I don't know.
Now, I am a Flames fan, and I'm also a Flames fan that has claimed that Travis Hamonic is his favorite player on the team for the last 2 years with Monahan, but Hamonic's my guy. There's not a bigger game gut, just he'll do anything for you and his teammates than Travis Hamonic. My only question on this, and I respect his decision and anybody's decision, I also don't, but they shouldn't get paid. But that's fine to make the decision to opt out. But and I understand his reasons and I respect his reasons, and I have kids and I know how it is with kids. But my only question on this is, based on the criteria of the bubble, isn't that the safest place to be in this society? He's got a better chance being out in the world of getting it, unless he's having food parachuted into him, than he would in the bubble. He's literally more protected in the bubble than he is outside the bubble. Now, I respect his decision, and he's still going to be one of my favorite Flames, and I actually hope they re-sign him.
I think it was just the fact that he wanted to be with his family during this time.
Oh, okay, but you've been with him since March, and I love my family as much as he loves his family. And the last thing I would want to ever happen to any of my family, whether it be my kids, my wife, my parents, any family member, is to have something tragic happen. Mm-hmm. But if I had to leave for my job and I was going to as secure of a bubble as I read in the league protocol for the bubble, I would leave with a smile knowing that I was safe and that I was going to come back safe, because I think that's safer than out in society. I really believe that.
So the biggest question I have is do you think players are going to break the rules?
I think some. Well, sure.
That already happened in the NBA.
For me,
people already broke the bubble.
For me to say that nobody will do it is asinine. Do I think there'll be a bunch? No, I really don't. I think there's a different respect factor amongst National Hockey League players than the other sports, and I hate it when they fucking prove me wrong on that. But I do. I think there's a different respect factor. Now, I don't know the exact number. I've heard crazy numbers here and there, but there's actually financial penalties
and potential draft pick.
Yes. So there is ramifications in the National Hockey League.
It definitely puts more pressure on the players not to fuck up.
Well, see, the thing is, what are you going to do? Why would you want to break the bubble? Because quite honestly, let's face facts. In 10 days, once we get going, in 10 days, a bunch of teams, 8 teams are out.
Yeah, and then it becomes what? It's a regular 16-team format, right?
I mean, we're going to lose teams along the way, so you're not going to be in a bubble for freaking 3 months unless you're winning the Stanley Cup. And I think that's a sacrifice any of us would make. I'd stay in a bubble for freaking 12 months if I could win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a problem. But do I think some will break the rules? Oh, sure, there's going to be somebody. But you know what? Don't you think? Let's say me and you played in the National Hockey League, which is, I know we're digging deeper in a hole here to even consider that me and you would be playing in the National Hockey League. But if me and you were out for dinner and you said, hey, I'm going to bust out tonight because I want to go wheel those babes down at the strip club.
I'm not going.
I'd be like, dude, that's not happening, man.
What the hell are you doing?
Don't you think you're going to get that in the NHL?
I think a lot of players will stop that from happening. I do think there'll be a couple idiots that do. There's a lot of players in the NHL are young and dumb. Jake Virtanen a week ago got in trouble. He was at a Vancouver club. I don't think he did anything wrong. I mean, everything was open up in Vancouver, and he followed all the precautions, and he quarantined, and he did his quarantine. So people blew that out of proportion. But yeah,
guys got to live their lives. Who are we to tell them how to live their lives?
Virtanen was literally followed around with a camera in a nightclub, and it was just dude.
Hello, we live in a free country, right? Until we hit the bubble, you can do whatever you want. Now, is it smart to do that? Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not. But I mean, we do live in a free world. Last time I checked, or a free country. No, I shouldn't say free world.
Yeah,
live in a free country, and I don't know. I disagree with people judging people on that, because you can catch it. It's not like that hangs out more at nightclubs. Mm-hmm. You can catch it from anybody, anywhere. Now, there's a couple players at risk. Max Domi comes up as a type 1 diabetic. He's going to miss the first 7 to 10 days for evaluation. Do you think they should hold him out because of that? Because I don't.
I think,
like I said, it's the safest place you can be, right?
I don't know. Type 1 diabetic, man. I'm not diabetic. I don't know what it's like to be diabetic, but it's a pretty high risk to take. I'm 60-40 that he'll play.
Isn't the bubble the safest place you can be?
I don't know, man.
It's safer than a hospital.
So why is he getting held back right now?
Well, they're evaluating. They're weighing out the precautions.
Well, right now every team is in isolation. They go to the rink. They go to the hotel.
But no, they're not. They're at their houses right now.
Vancouver is at the hotel.
The team?
No,
they're not.
The whole team.
Bullshit.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
They
Calgary's
got to Vancouver.
not.
They got to Vancouver. They had to do a 7 to 14-day quarantine.
The foreigners.
Yeah.
They're at their houses, though.
But I mean, like...
The players are at their houses with their families right now. They're going to get groceries.
I'll have to look that up.
I know they are. They're not in hotels right now. They're not in hotels right now.
So why did Bo Horvat do a Zoom meeting from a hotel?
Maybe he doesn't have a house there.
He does have a house.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. But I know for a fact that a lot of players... Well, I know that it's not mandatory that they're at a hotel right now.
I think there is some teams that
so
are
okay, so let me ask you this. Why would that be any safer? Actually, that would be more unsafe.
Not really.
Why? You're in public.
Okay, I'm pretty sure they're isolated away from the public.
No hotel in Vancouver is closed. No, wait now, Blake. You're telling me that right now in Vancouver there's a hotel that's fucking shut down, so 20 Vancouver Canucks can stay in there? You're crazy.
Well, that's what they're doing in the hub cities.
Because the whole hotel is shut down because the whole league takes the hotel over. Blake, it's not freaking 10 guys.
I don't know.
These guys are staying in their houses right now. Check. Look it up.
I will look it up.
Look it up. I know I'm right on that. They're asked not to go out into, public places and hang out outside and go to bars and do things like that, but they are on their own right now. That's why they're saying that between now and the time we leave for the hub cities is the most risky time that there is.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So Michael Furlan now and Corey Crawford are both declared unfit to play. So what do you think with Furlan? Do you think it's concussion related or do you think it's Corona COVID related?
Well, Jim Benning reported that there's nothing to read into that to him not practicing today. I guess we'll find out the next couple of days. I don't know what unfit to play means.
I don't either. I'm asking. I don't know. Corey Crawford's unfit to play too.
Does he have COVID? Does he have a concussion? Does he
out of shape?
Does he have a broken leg? Like, well, what is it? Jim Benning said that don't read into much of him not practicing. So I guess we'll find out in the next couple of days what that means.
Yeah. Corey Crawford's in the same boat right now, and I just really don't know what to think there.
Well, and it kind of concerns me with those two players in particular. They both battled long, lengthy of concussions, and I just hope it's not concussions again with those two players. I mean, Corey Crawford is a very important piece to that team, and I wish nothing but the best, and hopefully he's healthy.
Let's roll on to the bit of good news that we've gotten out of this whole delay, and that is a new CBA. As the NHL and the NHLPA hammer out a CBA extension, including a flat salary cap and a return to the Olympics. So let's kind of roll through the ins and outs of this. And the two sides agree that there'll be a flat cap. Was it for the next 2 or 3 seasons? Yeah. And that escrow would be capped at 20%, I believe. And then the two sides also agreed to bring the NHL players back to the Olympic competition, which is cool, but there's a side part to that. Then that's that the IIHF has got to up the ante, though, and be better hosts for National Hockey League players.
Well, no, it's the IOC.
Or IOC, excuse me, IOC, not IIHF. IOC, most corrupt company next to FIFA in sports.
They definitely robbed the NHL a lot of years with the money that they take from people watching the Olympics. So if the NHL can somehow strike a deal with the IOC and both sides can make profitable money out of it, I think it's a win for the NHL. It's a pocket of revenue that you can make up for by going to the Olympics. I think it's a chance to grow the game as it's in China in 2022. I think it'll be great. The chance. No, honestly, you roll your eyes, but I'm saying I'm being serious. Like as a as a person from Canada, it's going to be awesome to see McDavid play with Crosby or McKinnon.
Absolutely. So you're really not worried about growing the game. You're worried about watching your guys. And I don't blame you that because that's what I'm excited about too.
I love watching the Olympics. I missed the Olympics in 2018, and I'm so happy that that they even had potential participation in this new CBA.
I'm excited for the Olympics too, but you want to know the one in the top 10 comments that make me want to puke the most about hockey?
As an owner, though,
I'm pissed.
I'm kind of pissed. I mean, like I said,
every year somebody gets hurt in the Olympics.
To my buddy, definitely, like you pay McDavid $12.25 million to win the Stanley Cup or help you win the Stanley Cup. He goes over to Beijing or wherever the hell it is and breaks his leg. He's done for the year, and there goes your shot at the Stanley Cup. So definitely, if I was the owner, I'd be a little pissed off. I definitely would be holding my breath if my player or star player went overseas for up to 2-3 weeks. But as a fan of hockey, it's definitely something that encourages you for sure.
But definitely a give and take by the owners and players. And it makes me happy that my favorite sport has the ability to do that. And especially after the recent years of having to deal with the bullshit lockouts and stuff like that. It's nice to see.
That's what I was going to get to. This is very interesting. The fact that they are going through a lengthy return to play, back and forth negotiations, NHL, NHLPA. They figure out a schedule, and boom, I woke up to a 4-year extension on the CBA. I am so impressed with how quickly this came together. I was pretty skeptical, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking that there might be a lockout in a couple of years. So the fact that we're going to have 6 years of guaranteed hockey makes me a happy camper for sure.
Oh, I think it's a huge step in the right direction for the NHL.
As a fan of the MLB, looking at what they went through, and that is just a complete, utter disaster with the owners and the players and the PA and stuff. So the fact that through this pandemic, they figured this out so quick, it's great to see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun to have that looming talk of lockout and CBA's just gone. And so
the escrow is interesting. It's interesting, for sure. 20%.
Oh, players are going to have to take a hit because the owners are taking a hit financially.
Well, and the thing is,
but at least players in the hockey are figuring out that they go hand in hand, where other sports are not quite figuring that out.
Well, I was just thinking about this the other day. A player like Taylor Hall has a good season, a good playoffs. Okay, he's a pending RFA. Taylor Hall is probably going to be forced to take a 2-year contract because of the flat cap. He's probably not going to get the overall body of work what he's worth. He's probably going to be forced to take a pay cut, and I think a lot of players are going to be forced to look. I think this is going to be the next 2 to 3 years. We're going to see everything. A lot of bridge deals.
We're going to see a lot of salary changes.
Quinn Hughes probably going to sign a bridge deal, 3-4 years. I don't think you're going to see a 7-8 year deal. As a Canucks fan, that kind of hurts because you want to see Quinn Hughes sign a long-term deal to stay in the Canucks uniform. But the bottom line is, in order for him to maximize his value, he's probably going to have to take a shorter term and then revisit it years down the road when the cap increases.
And your favorite team aside, isn't that what we want in sports though? Name me. Well, like me and you have always talked. Name me one contract over 6 years that's panned out.
Yeah.
We can't. Me and you both have tried.
Well, Louis Eriksson's been pretty good, but yeah.
Holy shit. Seriously though, name one contract that's in this 6 year. Maybe like Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane.
Milan Lucic? ? I don't know.
Yeah. There isn't many of them out there.
No.
Well, we're both happy about the CBA, and let's take a quick roll around the league with just a couple little tidbits of news. And I just want to get your opinion on a couple things, and then we'll roll on into 3 questions. Lindy Ruff in as head coach of the New Jersey Devils. Thoughts on that hiring?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting hire for a young New Jersey team that I picked to make the playoffs. Gotta love that. A little shot at me there, but
shot at yourself.
They do have some young pieces. I think Lindy Ruff's a great coach, and I think he'd be a good coach for that young team. What do you think?
I everybody's always like, well, they keep hiring the same coaches over and over. Yeah, but Lindy Ruff wins hockey games.
One of the best coaches of all time.
So yeah. I think it's a good hiring. I think it's exactly what New Jersey needs. They need some stability, boy. They need some stability, and they need a seasoned veteran coach too. And I think this is a good hiring. Been there before. My next topic in around the NHL is a Vancouver, Minnesota thing, and I got to get your opinion because I don't know on this one. Judd Brackett leaves Vancouver and is hired in Minnesota as director of amateur scouting. Is this a loss for the Canucks?
Okay, we could talk about this for 45 minutes.
We're not though because we don't have time.
But
I need like 3 minutes.
I will say this. There was obvious disconnect with Judd Brackett and Wiesbra and Jim Benning. Obviously, Judd Brackett wanted lots of control over the drafting, and Jim Benning was obviously stubborn about that. And one thing I will say about this is Judd Brackett was a major role in drafting Elias Pettersson. Jim Benning wanted to draft Cody Glass. It's that secret's out there. Benning wanted Glass, and Judd Brackett and his team pushed for Pettersson. And Judd Brackett was a part of a lot of successful drafts in Vancouver. We'll probably get to Besser later on in this show. He was a part of the Quinn Hughes, Pettersson. I mean, it's no secret that when the last 5 years under Judd Brackett, the Canucks have had successful drafts, and it's going to be interesting to see. Time will tell in the next couple drafts if this was the right decision. But going back to Judd Brackett, it was known that he wanted a promotion, but he went to Minnesota and took the same job that he had in Vancouver. So there's a little bit that's not really adding up within that.
Okay, I'm just asking because I wanted to know the details of it because it was, you mentioned Brock Besser, and let's talk short about that. I got 2 other things I want to talk about before we roll into some questions, but lots of trade rumors circulating about Brock Besser. And, that happens with players like a Brock Besser that other teams would definitely want. Tons of them. There's probably more flying around right now with Johnny Gaudreau.
Okay. Like I said, we could talk about this for 30 minutes, but
do you believe in the fact of where there's smoke, there's fire?
The thing that pisses me off about this is we're about to play a playoff series against the Minnesota Wild, and we're talking about Brock Besser being traded. Dude, there is so much more shit to talk about than talking about a trade. You can't even make a trade right now. Why are we talking about this? We should be focusing on the fact that the Canucks haven't played meaningful hockey in 5 years. Okay? Brock Besser is on a team-friendly deal for the next 2 seasons. Okay? You don't trade young 30-goal scorers. You don't do that. I don't care who the hell made this rumor up. Jim Benning says it is false. He's not looking to trade Brock Besser. But again, what is Jim Benning going to say? Oh yeah, I'm shopping Brock Besser.
Exactly.
Of course, he's not going to say that. Like, what is he supposed to say? I get what he's talking about, but the fact is, are the Canucks in a little bit of a cap problem moving forward? Yes. Short term, they have a cap issue. Long term, I think they're just fine. But the Canucks have a decision to make. Do you sign Markstrom, which is, yes, a no-brainer. You sign Toffoli, and you let Chris Tanev walk. It's really not that hard. They can bury Sutter's contract or buy him out. You can send Eriksson down to the minors. You can move Jordy Ben's contract. There is so many different moves this organization can make. They are not stupid. They know that Brock Besser is a huge part of this team, and that is a last resort move. I'm fired up about this. It pisses me off, and this is the last thing that the Vancouver media should be talking about, and is a prime example why this fan base is so toxic. And it just blows my mind that we're about to play a playoff series that we haven't been in 5 years, and we're talking about Brock Besser trade rumors. Like, it is beyond ridiculous. It's so stupid.
I don't see them.
Like that rant? You like that tea? I mean, man, it just pisses me off.
I don't see them trading Brock Besser. I'm not ruling it out. And one of the things, I guess, if I was a Canucks fan, is people make rumors up all the time.
Like
But this
I
one came from like multiple directions, though. It just seemed weird to me. And the timing is weird, isn't it?
It is weird. Like I said,
I don't understand it.
Talking about the matchup against an old rival in the Minnesota Wild. That's what we should be talking about. We should be hyping up this series. We should be breaking down everything, man. We shouldn't. Brock Besser is trying to prepare for a playoff series. He should not be having to worry about fucking trade rumors. That's unfair. That's brutal.
Steven Stamkos injures his lower body. Can this guy catch a break?
Yeah, I don't know what to think. I think it's only the Tampa Bay Lightning could injure somebody in a phase 2-3 workout. But Stamkos gets surgery. He was supposed to be out till the second round of the playoffs. 4 months off and gets hurt again. Definitely a guy that can't catch a break.
Final thing, and then we'll get on to 3 questions, but word is circulating around the hockey world that Ottawa is looking at preparing a logo rebrand. I'm obviously keeping the name and everything, just a logo change. I had heard... Go back to the old logo.
Go back to the old logo from 2006 when they went to the Cup.
They're talking about that. But you know what I also heard, though, a year ago, though, that they really like that O, that just the O.
The third jersey, I like that with the black jersey with the white and red trim. That's really nice. If they do bring that back as a third jersey, I will fully support that. That's a great.
They're looking at making that their primary logo. They're just that O, and I don't know.
It's pretty plain.
Yeah.
I would prefer. I like that logo, but that's more of like a shoulder patch logo.
Yep.
Or a third jersey logo. I don't think I would make that like a kindergarten could design that logo, for Christ's sake. I think they should go back to the old logo, like I don't know how to explain it, but that was probably my favorite one.
I usually like Ottawa Senators jerseys, though. I usually do.
Yeah, they got a nice color scheme. Yeah. I like it.
All right, let's roll.
Inside Edge Hockey News, lighting the lamp and raising the cup.
It's time for 3 questions.
All right, fans. Time for 3 questions. I got them. I'm going to fire them at Blake. And we also got listener question back, and we're going to have that from here on out as we proceed forward. Question number 1. Are you ready, Blake?
Yes, fire away.
Will there be an NHL logo at center ice, a conference logo at center ice, or a sponsor logo at center ice when we return to playoff hockey action?
I am going to say it is not going to be a conference logo. I think it'll be probably a sponsorship logo.
I think it's going to be the NHL logo.
I think if McDonald's wants to sponsor the Edmonton's rink in all their games, I think there's going to be a big fat McDonald's logo in center ice. NHL is going to make money as much as they can.
I think it'll be an NHL logo. But I do agree with you that they need revenue and they're willing to do it.
They will do anything to make money.
Number 2, what teams will be affected the most with the flat cap? You don't need to name off 18 of them, which they will affect 18 to 20.
It's gonna affect
which 3 are the most?
It's gonna affect in the short term. It's gonna affect the Canucks. I hate to say it, but it is going to be a problem. It's going to be tricky. Jim Benning's going to have to navigate the next couple seasons. I was banking on before the pandemic. I was looking at in January and February and saying, "Oh, cap's rising. No, these are some of the moves we can make." But I mean, cap's not going anywhere for 2 years. Another team that is going to be in tough is the Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning,
St. Louis Blues.
St. Louis Blues with Pietrangelo as a UFA. Boston Bruins with Krug on the block. There's one more. I'm drawing a blank here.
Those are I think you named
Carolina Hurricanes. Also, they have a lot of RFAs and
but their owner's not gonna. That's not gonna be a problem. He'll let people go.
I'll probably go with Tampa, Toronto, and Vancouver as the 3 that will probably impact the most.
Question number 3. Will teams be
Don't say
allowed?
tank.
No, God, we already talked about that.
Don't get me going with that.
Will teams be allowed to play their games on big screens outside the arenas?
Are we supposed to be social distancing?
I don't know. Everybody has different beliefs on that, right?
Honestly, man, if I lived in Toronto and they said we're firing up at Jurassic Park, my ass will be in the front row.
I'm with you 100%.
If I have to wear a mask, sign me up. I will be there. I will be in the first row.
That's not why I asked the question. All right, rolling on. We better not get into more controversial stuff with that. Rolling on.
You already got my blood pressure past 6,000.
I tried to. When I wrote all this up, I'm like, okay, I got to get his blood pressure up, then lower it. Get his blood pressure up, then lower it.
Yeah, that's your main goal. As well. The podcast name should be Raising Blake's Blood Pressure Debate.
Well, pretty soon we can have a little meter on our video screen when it goes up.
Yeah. And the redder my face goes, the meter goes up. Yeah.
Listener question from Belleville, Ontario, Matthew Austin. And his question is a good one. And I don't know, Matthew, it's one I'm going to have a hell of a time answering. What would it take for the NHL to cancel its return to play? I'm waiting for you, Blake.
You hear crickets or something? I don't know how to answer this question. I really don't.
I think it's going to take a lot.
It's going to take like maybe 50 cases, maybe.
Oh, it'll be more than that.
Maybe like 75.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like that's the only thing that the NHL left out of this big fat.
Well, they can't put a number.
I get they can't do that, but that's what I'm saying. Like you can't answer the question.
Here's my 2 cents on the question. I think that right now, when players are out in society and we have not reached the hubs, it is going to be tricky. We're going to have a lot of positive cases, and I think that's okay. But I think once we get to the hubs, based off what I read in the protocol, it's very extensive. And so I think there's going to be positive cases, but I think they're going to be few and far between.
Okay, so say Sean Monahan tests positive right before you go to the bubble, okay?
Yep.
Let's just play this scenario.
Yep.
Do you allow him to still travel to the hub city and isolate by himself, or does he do his 4 negative tests in Calgary?
No, I have him from Edmonton to Calgary. I have him take his car or have somebody drive his butt up to Edmonton and go into I did not read this in the contingency plan, but I think there is a quarantine area outside of the hub.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah,
they go into that area because, like, if you're in round 2 and you come down with it, you're going to leave the hub, but you're going to have to go somewhere. So they must have a staging area. So
they must have like a floor in the hotel, like quarantine floor. I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
I don't know.
You test positive, you go up to the 4th floor in room 429, and that's where you're going to be staying for 4 days.
There'll be a lady. There'll be a lady up there for your rectal exam at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
We'll drop a peanut butter sandwich through the window to you. I don't know what the hell's going to happen there.
Yeah, contact delivery. There is so many names and words and descriptions that I have never even heard of.
We want a world. To answer the question, I guess we want a world of certainties, Matthew, where 52 cases and we're out. We can't give that because we don't know. We got to see how this plays out, and it's going to be like a thermometer you read every day on how the league's doing on this return to play. All we can do is
testing every day, correct?
Yes. Pray every day that there's as limited cases as we can. Keep the hub safe, keep the hockey on TV, and keep all of us happy. Right, Blake?
That's correct, man. I just, to be honest, man, I don't give a shit who wins the Stanley Cup this year. I just want to watch hockey, man.
Okay, if Vancouver wins first round and Vancouver's in the conference finals, I'm going to replay that. I don't give a crap who wins the Stanley Cup this year.
Okay, that's different. My team,
I got it on.
Team's deep. Okay, listen, bro. But what I'm saying, like, if Vancouver goes far, sure. But whoever wins the Stanley Cup, there's no asterisk. It's a fair shake. I mean, it's 4 rounds, 5 rounds in some cases, and people that think there's an asterisk next are complete clowns.
No, I agree. I think this is going to be great. I'm excited to have hockey back. As far as the show goes, we will be back on July 27th. 1 week off. We'll be back on July 27th with the much anticipated playoff prediction show. And this year, it's going to be freaking batshit crazy because Blake and I will not only predict the 8 play-in series and talk about each series, we have to predict the seedings of the 8 teams in the round robin. And this is going to be really, really fun. Hockey,
you're going to make my brain explode with all this shit.
You got 2 weeks to start thinking.
I suck at predictions, so I hope I just got like 2 series out of the plane right.
Well, I hope I get them all right, but I don't think that'll happen. But hockey,
there's got to be like, I'm gonna guess 2 upsets in the play-in.
There was more than 2 upsets in last year's playoffs.
Well, yeah, all 4 division winners got knocked out first round.
I know. It's going to be crazy, but it's good to have hockey back, and it's good to be back on the Debate Hockey Podcast. We like talking to you, and we've been taking every other week, which has been fine through this pandemic thing and just not as much to talk about. But now we got prediction show, and that's our favorite shows that Blake and I do. And during the playoffs, we will be back on a weekly basis throughout the entire thing. Enjoy your last 2 weeks of summer because hockey is back August 1st.
Wouldn't it be incredible if there was a daily fantasy sports app that was built for hockey? And not just an afterthought to football and other sports? We are excited to introduce UBGM.com, the first hockey-centric daily fantasy app. UBGM will be launching later this fall and needs your feedback. Expert, casual, and new players welcome. Sign up at ubgm.com/thedebate to become a VIP member. Get connected. The Debate Hockey Podcast can be found on Twitter at Debate Hockey. Also, make sure you check us out on our Facebook page, The Debate Hockey Podcast. Brad Burud can be found on Twitter at Brad Burud, and co-host Blake Friars can also be found on Twitter at Friars_Blake. If you like what you hear, please rate and review us on Apple Podcast. The Debate Hockey Podcast can be found on all major podcast players. And please consider subscribing to the Inside Edge Hockey News on Patreon. That'll get you exclusive content and much more. Thanks again and enjoy the hockey action.
Kevin Bieksa had come up and had a word with Westgarth a moment ago, and now Bieksa is going to face off against Westgarth, so the defenseman moves up for the Canucks.
Tortorella at the Vancouver bench is already looking at the Calgary bench.
Line brawl to start this game.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.